What better time to do science experiments than around Halloween? Hello again, everybody. My name is Dale Caffey. I'm on the campus of the Greater Waco Advanced Manufacturing Academy, and I'm with science teacher Sharon Orcutt, and this is what's called Seminar Fridays. Every Friday they do something different, and today it's a science experiment time as we approach Halloween. In fact, this is Friday, October the 30th, one day before Halloween 2015. And Sharon, first of all, before we talk about what you've done today, talk about the Greater Waco Advanced Manufacturing Academy's Fridays. They're called Seminar Fridays. What are they all about?
Well, we try to give the kids things that they could take into jobs later on: forklift certification, CPR certification, OSHA certification, so that they have things that they can put on their resumes, and when they go out to employers, they're able to use those to get jobs and do better in those jobs. They're getting welding certifications, all of those kind of things we do on Fridays.
And I think they're also taught soft skills, those important skills that they have to have in the world of work.
Right, exactly.
Wonderful. A lot of people think maybe that the Greater Waco Advanced Manufacturing Academy is all about welding, but it's much more than that. You're a science teacher. What do you try to teach these kids?
Well, we're a STEM academy, so we focus on the welding, precision metal, robotics, electronics, also the science and math. And so because we're a STEM academy, we do wonderful science and math here, and our science and math is hands-on. So instead of talking about doing it, we actually do it. And today is cryo day, and it's cold day, and so we do this the day before Halloween because we can, incorporate pumpkins and everything, so we have the flow of the dry ice, like you see the witch's brew kind of thing.
And I think I can pick this up, right? Without
Yes, you
hurting
can.
myself. And this is a feature of today. All this is a piece of dry ice in water, but it produces a very eerie look, if you will. And you're using a lot of cold things today. Carbon dioxide.
Which is, dry ice is frozen carbon dioxide, and then we have liquid nitrogen, which is just nitrogen that's very, very cold and becomes liquid. And so everything that we're doing today, we actually teach a lot about temperature in class, and this is a day where we've led up to it, and then we get to use examples later in class. Remember when, remember when, remember when kind of thing.
I like the sound of this. I hope it picks up on my microphone. It's like I'm in Frankenstein's laboratory.
Well, it's actually boiling because compared to the dry ice, the water is very, very warm. And so the water is actually boiling at a very cold temperature.
Wonderful. I'm going to put this back down and talk to you about some of the things you're doing today with the liquid nitrogen, which is very, very cold. Why don't you tell folks how cold it is?
Liquid nitrogen actually, and most people don't think in Celsius, but it's actually minus 198 degrees Celsius, which is in the minus 320 degrees-ish Fahrenheit. So extremely cold. It's probably the coldest thing any of these students will ever experience. But they actually, in welding, use liquid nitrogen to check welds and pipeline and pressure container welding. So a lot of the stuff that we teach in science, we relate to the welding, and this is one of the big ones. Well, all of the sciences use this, but there's a lot of it in welding. So,
of course, you had some fun with fruits.
Yes, they freeze solid, and it's amazing. They become very hard. You can hammer a nail with a banana that's frozen in liquid nitrogen, whereas, normally you can't.
And then you had some rubber balls that you put in there, and they shatter just like a Christmas ornament.
Racquetballs sound just like Christmas ornaments when they shatter. Yes, but then after they warm up, the rubber quality comes back, and they're actually bendable, which amazes the kiddos. And we're actually going to make dipping dots later. Dipping dots are actually made with liquid nitrogen, and so the kids, Mr. Watley and I used our secret ice cream recipe that we used, and they're going to make the dipping dots, and they can actually eat them. They're wonderful to eat, and right now they're outside.
Oh,
you heard that?
I heard
They're
it.
blowing up bottles because the liquid nitrogen, when it becomes hot, obviously the volume increases, it swells, and the bottles can make it to a certain point, and then they can't handle it anymore, and they blow up.
Right. One of the highlights of this day too was, and because tomorrow is Halloween as we're doing this interview, is the flaming pumpkin. And you were using some alcohol and also showing them just how volatile dust is.
Yes. Well, alcohol, we use ethyl alcohol because it's pretty stable and very safe, and it burns cooler than most things burn. And so it's less dangerous than other things. But it always amazes them. We talk about surface area and how surface area will make things react faster and burn faster. But when you actually see it, then you see, hey, you know, wow, dust. You can put cork on a table and it will barely burn, but you grind it up into dust and it makes a big flame.
Right.
So.
Mr. Watley had a funnel hooked to a tube, and he was putting cork dust in it.
Right.
And then he would blow that cork dust over the top of the flames, and really had a great effect.
It did have a great effect, and it works with non-dairy creamer too. It works with many things. We use the dust so that we can relate it back to a lot of these kids are rural here at GWAMA, and they're very familiar with grain elevators and grain and the dust that comes with it. And so that's why, you know, we try to relate everything that we do to things that are actually in their life.
Right, and you even talked about the fact that when a grain storage area gets on fire, it's tough to put out.
It's almost impossible to put out. It's very scary, and you know, those are some of the worst fires that we get because of that dust. It's, you know, they explode before you can put them out.
Sharon, as we close, I know you've been a science teacher for a long time. You're over here at GWAMA now. Are you having fun? And
This is the best job I've ever had in my life. I am having so much fun. The kids are happy to. I have kids saying, "Miss, chemistry is such a fun class." Now, when was the last time you heard that? It's just so. They love it here, and that makes me love it here. It's like excitement in their eyes and light bulbs every day in their eyes, and that's what teaching's all about.
That's what it's all about. Sharon Orcutt, thank you so much for being here
you.
today. We enjoyed watching some of your experiments and some of your fun with cold stuff.
Cold, cryo.
You bet. And the kids here, or the students here at the Greater Waco Advanced Manufacturing Academy, are learning science along with a lot of other things. This is Dale Caffey reporting.